Hi, I'm Andrew Wallace, and welcome to the We've Got a Problem podcast, where each week we explore inspiring stories of struggle, success, and solutions to prevalent problems, and how our guests have turned a problem into an opportunity. Today I'm joined by Shawn Bayley. He's a certified copywriter turned sales success coach, mentor, and online business expert who helps coaches, consultants, and other experts build 6- and 7-figure online businesses. His new book, High Ticket Funnel Secrets, is out now. Shawn, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So give us some background. You were not born a high ticket funnel secret guru. How did you get to writing a book about this? What brought you to this lowly stage?
For sure. I'll give you the backstory here and how I came to be. I was one of those people who was kind of working their 9 to 5 and knew that, like if I wanted to get more income into my life, that I was going to need some type of a side hustle. So I didn't want to go and start a complete new, go start a business, like a brick and mortar, buy a franchise or do something like that. It was like, there's the internet. Let's go make some money on the internet. How hard can it be, right?
That's famous last words. How hard can it be?
Exactly. Right. So I jumped into that and I got started selling information products, but I had kind of a handicap because I didn't know how to sell. I knew literally nothing about selling. If you are listening to this and you worked at the front counter at McDonald's, you have more experience than I started with when I started online, because I was the guy in the back of McDonald's who they would send up and down the stairs to bring up fries. I didn't know what an upsell was. I didn't know anything about selling. So I would have to go and I would create a product, and that was really easy. I had no problem creating products, but then it was like my idea was a sales letter like, hey, go buy this. It's awesome, right? Like, why aren't you buying it? So I would have to go and hire copywriters to do the writing for me. And that was an okay arrangement at first, until one kind of dark day where I got handed a piece of copy, a sales letter. And at that point, I had read enough of them and I knew this wasn't a very good one. And I had paid a lot of money for it. This person had kind of taken longer than expected to create it. So I was like double upset about this, and I just kind of shook my hands to the heavens and said, never again. That's it. I'm going to learn how to write my own copy. I'm not going to hire a copywriter. I'm going to hire myself. So I thought, again, how hard can it be, right? So I went with a place called American Writers and Artists Institute. That one's really hard to say. The short version is AWAI. It was an awesome place to learn from. It put me through my paces, and it kind of got me to the point where I was able to write my own sales letters, and then it kind of passed the ultimate test, which was cold traffic would come to my page, they'd read my sales letter, and they'd buy. And it wasn't by accident, because it kept happening over and over. And then it got to the point where my knowledge of funnels, like the funnel part was really easy. Learning about sales funnels, that really clicked with me a lot more than the copywriting side. But now I could build my own funnels, I could write my own copy, and then eventually I started taking on clients, and people would be like, hey, can you build me a funnel? And it was nice because I was able to kind of double end it, because they would be like, hey, can you build me a funnel? And I would say, yeah, sure. Do you have a copywriter? Do you need some sales copy for this funnel? Oh, you need that too? Great. I can handle both of those.
Bingo, bango, bongo. I got you set up here.
Exactly. So yeah, that's kind of how I got started with funnels and copywriting and doing client work. And then I was basically in the right place at the right time. I was in a Facebook group for copywriters, and this kind of online guru who I had seen, his ads and whatnot for, I was kind of aware who this person was, came into the group and was looking for copywriters. So I messaged him back, and I thought he was looking for people to do, write up some sales letters or maybe some emails or something like that. But what it was he was kind of expanding his business. He was a high ticket coach who taught other high ticket, coaches, whatever their area of expertise or niche was, how to, bring in high ticket clients and make that whole thing happen. So he wanted people who could help his clients create their offer and write out their copy for their funnel. So new people were coming in pretty much daily, and we would get an email. Okay, you're with this guy now. Hook up with him on Facebook, set up a time to go through his stuff. So I really got to see the ins and outs of a 7-figure business, a 7-figure coaching business, what he was doing. And there was a lot of stuff that I thought I knew how it worked, but I did not until I started working with him. And then I went and kind of took his process, modified it to be my own. And one of the clients that I took on, this guy hired me to build a presentation for him. And he was an e-com Amazon store expert. I did up his presentation. The first 30 days that he ran it, I think he brought in like $67,000 and then just poured gas on it and then ramped it up to, he did over $1 million in the first year that he was doing that presentation. One of the things that I learned right off the bat was that not to use a traditional webinar, right? Lots of people will go and be like, oh, I should go, I'm going to sell this course or this training or whatever for $1,000, $2,000, whatever. Oh, I'm going to do a webinar funnel. Those things are incredibly complex. And what I tell people, my kind of methodology is I tell people to use what I call a reverse webinar. Don't do a big, massive webinar. Do this nice little short reverse webinar that's tight, compressed, and does the trick. Because I guess maybe I'm a little sour on webinars because when I was first starting out, I kind of fell in the same trap. I was like, okay, I'm going to build a webinar funnel. I'm going to build a webinar and I'm going to sell this course. So I did all that. And it probably took close to 2 months to get this presentation like done up, a couple hundred slides. So I go and I set it up. I like put some posts on Facebook and some videos on YouTube and email my list. I'm doing this presentation at this date and time. So I go the day of it actually comes and I look and I see and it's like, 2 minutes before the presentation and I got 2 people in the waiting room. So I'm like, oh man, this is a serious bummer. But you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the presentation anyways, because it'll be good practice. I should learn how to do this. I'm going to do it anyways for these 2 people. So literally, as soon as I start the presentation, within 30 seconds, one of the people leaves. So now there's one person left on this presentation. I'm like, oh man. So I go through and I do the entire rest of the presentation. So like an hour and change later on, I get to the end of the presentation and I look and see, and the other person, they had bailed as well. I think around the 15-minute mark. So I'm choked. I take my headphones off and I'm kind of looking at my setup there and I look at my headphones and kind of turn to the side. And at some point I had hit the button to mute myself.
Oh, God.
So I did the whole presentation on mute. Somehow that other person still gutted it out for 15 minutes, I guess, maybe hoping that I would figure out what was wrong with my audio and my setup. So I'm a little sour on big, long traditional webinars, but
yeah,
that might be right.
I've got so many questions about the reverse webinar and all that, and I do want to get into that. But one of my questions before we even start to talk about that is, what do you see? Obviously, kind of we have a shared linguistics issue here of what a high ticket funnel is, and what you quantify as a high ticket client, high ticket funnels, all those kinds of things. When people are looking to do an online business, you're not looking to get 2 people to show up for your for your webinar. That's not a funnel. That's a pinpoint, right?
Yes.
We're not looking to do all this work for 1 person or for 0 people. So, I mean, part of the question is, first of all, what is a high ticket funnel as you see it? Why do they work? And how do they work?
So a high ticket funnel, in my professional opinion, is going to be essentially about 3 pages, 3 steps essentially in the funnel. They're very simple. And for a high ticket offer, to me, that's something that is $1,000 or more, right? Usually the cutoff with my mentor when I was working for him, his cutoff was anybody that came in, whatever their coaching offer was going to be, didn't matter what their price point was coming in, they were going to start at 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, whatever price point, in his words, scared the crap out of them. That was the price point that they should go with, right? You want that the more that someone pays, the more that they're going to pay attention is kind of a common saying that goes around. And it's, like, when you start thinking about it, it's like, why would someone pay that much for it? And it's, they want expertise and they want guidance, right? Like, why do personal trainers make a lot of money, right? Because really it's like, eat less, work out more, right? And people could just go do that. But they pay a lot of money to trainers because they want someone to hold their hand. They want somebody to pick up the phone when they have a question. They want someone who's gone through the process and is an expert. So that's why people get into high ticket funnels.
Part of the thing, I think, for people listening out there to understand is kind of how the sales process works. And for people out there who are not yet thinking of actually getting into being entrepreneur, but they've flirted with it, they're thinking about going solo, they've been working at a company, they have all this expertise built up that they could easily turn into being a coach, a consultant, some sort of expert out there, and probably in short period of time, turn it into a successful online business if they had the right kind of steps and they employed the right things. If you don't know anything about sales and you've just been in the corporate space of having somebody else handle that for you, you're going to have a not just trial by fire, but you're probably going to be a failure. You're going to give up. You're going to walk away from it. And that's part of my question is, what is the problem here? Why do people kind of struggle to start an online business? What do you see as the biggest hurdle to making a successful funnel? Is it lack of copy? Is it?
Well, I mean, at the highest level, people should not worry about their funnel or their sales copy or even their offer. Gary Halbert, who's one of the big, kind of one of the best copywriters of all time. And as great as he was at copywriting, his number one kind of mantra was that you should become a student of markets, right? Mm-hmm. What are the markets out there? What is the market that you're going to get into, and what do they want? Don't try to sell a course or a training or something that you want to sell. Right? Look and see, what are they buying? What do they want? Be a student of markets. And then when it comes to the actual funnel itself, there's a lot of mistakes that people can make kind of inadvertently. And number one, right off the bat, is going to be the actual webinar itself. So obviously from my story, don't go and make a big 100 slides long webinar when you can just make a short, tight presentation that is anywhere from 10 to 20 to 30 minutes long. When we would create them with the clients and whatnot, we would have kind of various ranges and lengths and whatnot, but none of them went longer than 30 minutes. And I think the shortest one that I saw that was working and bringing in clients who were ready to drop 4 figures was 12 minutes. So wow. Okay. The actual framework itself is really simple. The first thing that's going to happen when they hit play or start watching your reverse webinar presentation is that they're going to get hit with the offer. And the offer itself needs to basically elicit a yes or no response. It needs to be really easy to understand the benefit of it, and it needs to incorporate an element of time. Because a lot of people will be like, hey, I'll show you how to make, $10,000 a month. And that's kind of where it stops. And it's like, actually, it should say, here's how to make $10,000 a month in the next 45 days or 60 days, or you know what I mean? Put a time frame on it. And the offer itself, like a sample one that I've got here, and now I'm not in this market at all. This is just something that I kind of came up with, would be like, do you want your pre-baby body back in the next 30 days? If I offered to get you back the body that you had before you had kids, would you take me up on that offer? Do you want the tight, toned body that you had before you had kids and do it without strict dieting, long periods of fasting, and nonstop cravings? Would you be interested in that? Boom. Right. That's it. Right off the bat. And just like, they either want it or they don't. And if they don't, then they're going to click off and go watch something else. And that's cool. Right. But somebody who's into that, they're like, okay, I'm going to watch this now. I'm going to see what's going on. So now you just made this offer. And now we've got to kind of back it up a bit with some authority. And this is where in a traditional webinar, this turns into like a 20-minute long backstory. And, that's when you start opening other tabs or scrolling through your phone or whatever. So the next part with the authority, this is like 1 slide long and it's 60 seconds or less. And it's just basically, why should people trust you? Like for me, mine could be as simple as, hi, I'm Shawn Bayley. I'm a world leader in funnel education, and I'm a certified copywriter who's helped launch clients to 6 and 7 figures in their coaching business. That's it, right? I could put in, maybe if I want to put in like some awards that I've got, or maybe a couple other blurbs from clients or something like that. But the authority part there, let's just get that and have it done quickly and move on to the next part of the presentation, which again builds more desire, because now we're going to talk about the actual system. Everyone's got their system, whatever, formula, blueprint, plan, right? Ours is the revolutionary new 6-figure accelerator method. I'm going to show you how our clients are using it to quickly add $20,000 to $50,000 per month. Okay, now we've got the juices flowing with these people, right? They're watching this presentation. We've just explained our system, but now we got to build some rapport and some relationship with them. And a good way to do that from a copywriting perspective is to get them to agree with you. And in order to do that, we all kind of, the best statement is like, we all know. So we all know that that a lot of Americans have a weight problem. The number is actually 80% of people that are considered overweight. Now that we just made that claim, from a copywriter standpoint, again, tie that into, if you make a claim, back it up with at least 3 pieces of proof. So we could say something like, and what we can do is we can leverage proof. We can say something like, in fact, according to Johns Hopkins University, Cedars-Sinai, and the Mayo Clinic, ... right? And put in our claims and our facts. Or according to Forbes magazine, and leverage proof, right? And that's going to help build that rapport and that relationship. So we're going to say, after that, we're going to talk about the system itself, like what's going on. Everyone's process, system, method, formula has 3, 4, 5 steps, pillars, keys, whatever you want to call it. And what we do is we break those down and give kind of an overview of each step. So, right. So we want to put a certain kind of caveat at the end of it here. So we talk about step 1. We say, what we're going to do here is we're going to outline your ideal avatar and create your $10,000 per month offer. We say, when you do this right, you'll have a killer offer that your ideal client can't resist. You'll have people practically begging to take you money. But we start with that when you do this right, because psychologically people think, oh, I better pay attention to this because not only do I want to know how to do it right, I definitely don't want to do it wrong. So I'm really going to pay attention to this, right? Yes. So we use a little bit of psychology, and then after we outline the system and people see what's involved and what's going to happen, from there it's just simply some testimonials. If you got as many testimonials as you can jam into that presentation. You can, whether they're video testimonials, whether they're just text on the screen outlining results. But we want to put in our testimonials and the results that we've got from people. And then after that is just basically the exchange with scarcity. And it doesn't have to be any kind of fake scarcity, because people can smell that from a mile away, just like your uncle's cheap cologne. And you want to say something like, I can only take on 10 people per month in my training course. So if you hesitate on this and wait too long, you might not get in until the next month. So you might have to wait an additional 30 days. That's it. Natural scarcity, no BS involved. And it's a fact. Like if I dropped 1,000 people into your lap who wanted your course, you'd be like, oh, dollar signs, this is awesome. But then you'd be like, oh, the logistics of it, actually, you know what? I can only handle this many per month. And right. So we're being totally honest, and we're dialing up the scarcity notch with this. And then that's pretty much it. And when it comes to a lot of people like, well, I don't have testimonials, I don't have results, go get some. Go get some people, take them through your thing, get them some results. I would say, say you want to plan on selling your course for 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. Get these initial people in, they got to pay something. You got to get them to pay something. Get them to pay $500 or something, and tell them the insane discount that they're getting, because you are going to be launching this thing for 3,000 in the future. But you're looking for people who want to get in my beta class so I can get results. Right. And then once you do that for that lower price, you'll never have to do it again. And you've got your testimonials and you got your results, and you got paid to do it.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, the idea of creating, there's Pat Flynn with Smart Passive Income and all these kinds of things, just different ways of coming at it and how to successfully do it. Like you say, how to do it right. Mm-hmm. If you do this right, here's what will happen. Yep. Is an elusive concept for so many people, because they dilly-dally. And I think that's one of the cool things about building the correct funnel, is that you're not getting people who are not serious about doing what they need to do to get there, right? It's a lot easier to get successful testimonials when the people are actually taking it seriously. And that's why they have to pay something, by the way. And it's got to mean something, because I haven't had the experience in the past that people who've gotten it for cheap or free have done the work. And I don't have the time to invest in somebody who's not serious and going to be successful with this. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so, and you know what? We're going to cover, I got a couple more things, and I'm going to show you how to get people to tell you exactly what they want to buy. So you won't even have to worry about price points. And that's the next question. So please go on. Yeah. How do you find what somebody wants to buy? How are you going to get the information on exactly targeting your ask, your offer to what's going to be successful? So we're going to go at it kind of two ways here. So the first thing is that I still see a lot of online coaches, high ticket coaches doing this. They will have their calendar open. So you get to the landing page, there's a presentation on the next page, you put in your email address, boom, you come to the presentation, you see the video, right underneath that is their calendar. Don't give people immediate access to your calendar. Right? You want to have underneath the video, what should happen is there should be an intake form with about 10 questions. The more questions you have, the less likely people are to fill it out. So keep it to about 10. But this is where we get some valuable information, because we're going to pull from them. One of the best questions that you want to have in your form there is, what option fits you best? So we want to talk to people who are pre-sold. So this is a must on your intake form. It's going to save you a bunch of time and frustration and headache here, because you're going to get them to tell you what you want to buy. So the question literally says, what option do you want to buy? Option number 1 says, I'm not able to invest right now. Right? I don't have the money to invest right now. And that's okay, because when that person fills out the form and you get the response and look at it and they chose option number 1, you're going to reply back to that person and say, okay, no worries. Maybe this isn't the right time for you to go with something major. Here's another product that I've got, or an affiliate product. Right? You're not going to just completely ignore this person, but that's you're very thankful that they told you where they're at.
Right.
Option number two is say do it yourself, and that's your $500 course. They just get the training and the videos and the tools and whatnot, but they don't get access to you. Option number three is done with you. So that's maybe your $4,000 course where they get the same thing as the $500. They get all that videos and training, but they get weekly access to you,
Right.
which is why the price point is higher. And then number four, let's say you've got your flagship. This is done for you. I do everything for you. We get together and this is very intimate working together, and it's the highest tiered product, and say it's $15,000. So now when people fill out these forms and you get these forms come in and people fill them out, you're going to know. So now when you're on the call with them, you're not trying to pitch them a $4,000 product when they really just want the do it yourself 500, right?
Right.
So it makes life so easy from getting on the call standpoint, because I've done those types of calls. They fill out the form and it looks like this person, like they want to be a part of the program. So you get on a call with them and then you got to pitch them the products
Right.
that you've got. Instead in advance, you can know exactly what's going on coming in. So that kind of leads to the next part here. And the reason that this works so well, like after you have that form on there, or that question on the form, is you want to have an open paragraph question and kind of use the power of positioning to flip the script on them, so to speak, right? Because they're coming into it like, oh, this coach is going to try to pitch me and chase me and get me to become a client. But instead, you've got a question on the form that says, why should I take you on as a client?
Right.
Or a student? And then just open answer. Let them type as much as they want, right? Because now it's like, oh, I kind of got to justify myself here and say why I would do it. Like something like, why should I take you on? I have, like a massive wall of testimonials and successful students, and I'm only looking for people to add to that, success story and successful students on there. So once they fill that out and put in why they should become a student, then what you're going to do is once they fill out that form, they're going to get a message that says, okay, watch for a message from us, and we'll let you know if you've made it to the next round. They still don't get access to the calendar. They watched the video, they filled out the form. Now they're told, okay, if things are right, then you might make it to the next round here. We're going to evaluate your form and let you know within the next 24 hours. And then that way, when they get an email from you with a link to the calendar, that person is going to be very inclined to show up and actually go through with the call. Because if you've done high ticket coaching, you're going to have people ghost you. But the thing is, if people are going to be like, oh, I've got this call coming up and this coach is going to try to pitch me, versus you get an email and say, here's a link to the calendar, you made it to the next round. It's like American Idol. People don't ditch out on, making it to the next round of American Idol, right? So that's what we kind of want to do and make it feel like that. And like at first I was like, when my mentor showed me this and the whole positioning and flipping things around, I said, does that really work? Like having it set up like that? And he said, oh yeah. So we were doing a Zoom meeting like this. So he opened up the chat window and started sending me screenshots from a client who had come on. And what had happened is that the guy watched the presentation, filled out the form, was just so like jazzed to be a part of the program and the coaching, that he started direct messaging my mentor and like, let me in, I want to be part of this program. And my mentor was like, well, I only want, like committed people. Like I've got a really good track record of success. Like I only want people who are going to work hard. Guy messages him back. Yes, I will work hard. I want to do this. A few more back and forth. And then boom, 4,300 paid in full. So this guy could be a client.
All right.
I was like, wow, like that's amazing.
I mean, that's what success looks like. That's doing it right, doing it the right way. There's nothing, by the way, and I just have to comment on this briefly. There's nothing that bothers me more about the people who do it wrong and who don't have a menu of options. Like usually I want the DIY thing. I want to know what you're about. I've watched your webinar. I've figured out, yep, that sounds like something I could benefit from, but I want to just take the course. I want to pay the $200, $300, $400, $500 and take the course. I don't need the hand holding. I will do it. If there's something in the course, I'll do it. I'll go through it. But if I have to go through this selection process of having you pitch me on this BS that I don't need, when I'm not at that level, right? I can't invest thousands of dollars into podcast marketing expertise at this stage. I'm not making enough with the podcast to justify that, and I don't have the financial runway to make that happen.
Right.
So for now, I'm on the DIY track. Fine. But if you're going to get me in, and I don't even know how much this option is going to cost. If somebody's like, look, pay me $200 a month and I'll provide you personal fitness coaching, like, well, maybe that's worth it. I don't know what your levels are, right? I don't know what you're and if you don't have some menu here of what to select, now I'm wasting your time and my time in getting on this coaching call, right? So,
and some people might be like, well, I don't have, like I want to do my coaching. I don't have that course, the $500 or the do-it-yourself course. That no problem, because all you have to do is like get a few clients who are in at a few coaching clients. You plan out the sessions. It's going to be over 6 weeks. We're going to meet up once a week, twice a week, whatever. And then it's just like this. You record it. You get those transcribed and turned into text. You record the videos and upload those wherever they need to go. And now you've got your course. All you're doing is just recording the coaching sessions and turning them into your course and then expanding it out.
Exactly. And that's the process that you need to go through. I think there is and I don't want to say laziness, because that's the wrong term, because we're all just busy. But there is this concept of, I want somebody to do it for me, but I don't want to pay for it.
Right.
Right. Like I want somebody to take care of this, but I don't want to invest the money that it would take to do it. And I think that if I just walk into this online business thing, that I'm going to be making money while I sleep with a minimum of input. And it's possible to do that once you've put in a lot of effort, right? You have to build it and create something and actually interact. And then maybe, you can have your course, but you're going to have to keep promoting it. You're going to have to keep talking to people about it. You're going to have to keep it up to date.
When it comes to courses, like say you want to make 10K a month. I don't know when this became the official standard for income, but everyone references 10K a month. So let's say you want to make 10K a month and you've got, like you say, a course on how to master YouTube, and it's $97 or something like that, right? So you got to sell, X amount. You got to go track down all these people and sell whatever to get to your $10,000. And then when the calendar flips over for the next month, you got to go out and find all those people again. Whereas with high ticket, let's say you want 10K a month, your course is now you're doing,
two,
a done with you, a coaching course where we're going to work together on your YouTube and get together. And, it's a done with you, and it's $2,500. Now you only need 4 people per month. That is so much less stress to worry about finding 4 people in the span of a month. And maybe you decide you want to dial it up, and now you're going to do more. There will be a threshold where you can only do so much yourself, or with a bit of outsourcing, before you're going to have to expand to a team. Because when I was working with my mentor, they were doing about $2.5 million a year, and he had 2 closers. There was 3 of us copywriters, offer people working with his clients. There was another kind of operations guy who was kind of running everything. So, once you pass a certain amount with your high ticket coaching, you will have to expand out, or you will burn out and go mental. So
right. Well, for sure. And your price has to go up. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that too.
Because and it could be like Disneyland. You could keep raising the price and get more and more people who want it.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, we're kind of coming to the end here. We've had a fantastic conversation already, and I don't want to leave stones unturned here.
Sure.
What do you wish that you had known when you were starting out? What would have been helpful to know when you were getting into this?
Not to compare yourself to anyone else in the entrepreneurial journey. That is one of the biggest dream killers. I probably would have killed off my Facebook account and not looked at anything on there, because there's so much fakery and hype on there, especially Facebook and Instagram. People, leaning on the side of a Lambo. The owner of the Lambo is just out of frame because you just borrowed it for 10 minutes so you could do that photo shoot. Right. Same with standing in front of a big mansion. That's not their house. That's some Airbnb. So there's a lot of hype and a lot of fakery. And if you start comparing yourself, it's like, well, I started about a year ago, and this person in their ad, they're talking about that they started a year ago and now they're worth millions of dollars. Why aren't I like that? Is it because I'm not old enough or young enough or cool enough or know enough about this? So comparing yourself to other people and thinking that you have to achieve the same, results in the same time frame will definitely, negatively affect your mind frame, your results. Just don't worry about what other people are doing. Realize and understand that they talk about the entrepreneurial journey. It's not the entrepreneurial 6-month, work session and then boom, now you've hit it and you're successful. It goes on and on. There is no end, except there is no end. And don't compare yourself to anyone else in the journey. For sure. So where do you see the biggest opportunities being today for somebody who wants to be more entrepreneurial, get into online business, start to build their funnel, do all these things? What areas are ripe for exploitation? it's kind of whatever you want to do. For me, like I just like the low ticket stuff is cool, products, but that's like the last thing that you should be getting into. Come in with your high ticket offer right out of the
Hmm.
gate, right? Because then you're making, bigger profits. You're not worrying about just eking by. Am I making enough money per month? Start with the high ticket and do something like that. And then find a way to turn it into a recurring income, a subscription model business. Because there's nothing better than, again, when the calendar flips over each month, boom, like the first of the month hit and you're looking at the bank account because all those credit cards of people who are subscribers or members or whatever, they just, like that, all those payments went through. Now you're looking at money in the bank and all you're doing is going out and trying to find more people to get them into either the high ticket or
Yep.
subscription.
Yep.
Once you got both of those keys figured out, then you can be like, okay, you know what? Here's my little $97 product that I'm going to have on my website that, covers ad spend and just brings me buyers and people who are willing to crack open wallets. So.
Right. Right. But man, once you get rocking on just that little bit and you start to move on, you're all right. Now we're going to do this one. Now we're going to do this one. Now we're going to do this one. I'm going to offer a thing, right? That $97 a month
Yeah.
option.
Businesses don't go under because they didn't come up with a clever headline or a cool hashtag or a really neat video. They go out because they ran out of money because they didn't make enough sales.
Right.
So
That's
insulate
it.
yourself, start with high ticket, go to subscription, then maybe a low ticket offer.
All right. So coming to the end here, a
Yes,
couple
sir.
of questions I ask everybody. And
Okay.
this can be general, very broad, or specific to your individual niche. What do you feel like the most overrated concept is that everybody buys into, but that's total BS at the end of the day?
I would say that Chat GPT is the answer to all of your problems when it comes to online business.
Yep.
I played around with it a bit. The bulk of people don't even touch it or use it. Probably half of them don't know how, and half don't care. When you actually get in and start using it and looking at it, it is a tool. I mean, there's other copywriting tools out there that actually kind of work better, in my opinion, because you have to go in there and do a lot of typing and tell Chat GPT what it should think or do for you
Right.
versus there's other, like copywriting script programs where all you got to do is fill in some stuff. Boom, it'll generate your sales letter. Now you've kind of got version one. You can go in, polish it up. So all it is just a tool, and it's
Yeah.
not gonna, it's not going to do your business for you, and it's not going to put you on a yacht by the middle of next week type thing. So
Damn
just
it.
it's a useful tool. It's really cool, and you can do some stuff with it. A lot of it's really cool for market research and giving kind of prompting ideas, giving you some ideas for maybe a series of YouTube videos to make. But
Sure.
at the end of the day, it's just a tool, and
Yeah.
it's never gonna do things like if you can get good at like writing stories, especially in your sales messages. Chat GPT just is not gonna it's not gonna write stories like humans can write
Right.
stories because it's not human.
Right. Well, and as one of my guests recently said, look, if you want everything to look the same, then go to AI because
Mhm.
that's all it's going to do is leverage what's fed into it. And then it's just going to keep everything's going to be the same. We're all going to have the same copy. We're all going to have
Exactly.
the same thing, which by the way, and it also, I mean, there's a great Planet Money episode recently where they tried to get AI to do their job. And one of the first things they had to do was teach it not to lie because it likes
Yeah.
to just make stuff up.
Yeah.
So on the other side of that, what do you think the most underrated concept is that people overlook? What are people missing?
I would say getting good at writing. I'm big on the copywriting side. Getting good at writing, especially bullets
Mm-hmm.
and stories. If you can do those, you can write up sales messages that will crush it. And especially now that everyone, like you say, everyone's just going to be copying and pasting from AI and everything's going to look similar. If you're able to write your own stuff, your own stories, and your own bullets in your sales messages, you're probably going to stick out like a sore thumb because people are gonna be like, whoa, this feels authentic. I'm so
Yep.
used to this dry, generic AI generated copy that, yeah, you're gonna stand out in the crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Shawn, thank you so much for joining me. Folks, if you want to know more about Shawn, you can find him and his workshops over at ShawnBayley.com. And you can check out his new book, High Ticket Funnel Secrets, at highticketfunnelsecrets.com. I'm Andrew Wallace. We don't have a problem. We've got an opportunity.